Hey, YouTube. All right, this video is for the plumbers. Should we get rid of the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners, the governing body that issues our licenses? Texas takes a long time to get a license, more than a lot of states. You know, you have to, if you go through a union training program or some sort of other approved training program, which I'm not familiar with any other than the union, which is a 5-year program, you can get a master license within 5 years through a union. Outside the union, which is a 90%, 95% of plumbers in Texas, maybe more, takes a 4-year apprenticeship to get a journeyman, and then you have to wait another 4 years, then you can get a master license. So 8 years to get a master. And once you get a master, you can then get a RMP endorsement through the state, which is a responsible master plumbing license, where you can own a business. But so it's a very long process. If you don't go through the union, you're probably looking at more than 9 years, because it usually takes 6 months. For me, when I went to get my journeyman, it was a 9-month process. I mailed out in January. I don't remember what year, and I didn't get and go and take my test until September. So it was 9 months process. So you know, you think about that. It's probably going to be a similar wait for your master license. So it's a long process, and I haven't had too many great experiences with the people down there. Like when you're there taking the test, the guys are great. They're friendly. They're nice. You know, test is easy as shit. But I'm for getting rid of the license. Reason being is I believe that, you know, I believe we should have a contractor's license, similar to what they have in HVAC, where if you have a contractor license, you can decide who goes out and works for you in the field. You know, because like my in-laws, my wife's family owns a plumbing company. I don't work for them, but they own a plumbing company, and I'm a plumber and mechanical trade guy as well. And they disagree with me big time. They're like, no, we need licenses, our wages will go down, and this and that. I'm like, bullshit, you know, bullshit. Because electricians have always been right at with plumbers or a little above plumbers by how you look at it. And they didn't have a license till the 90s. I mean, they had to get like, you know, licensing in every city, which was bullshit and a waste of money and time. I don't agree with that either. But HVAC service techs, they probably make more than, well, for sure, on average, HVAC service techs make more than plumbers, big time. Like, I know for a fact, I work with them. And they don't have a license. They have like an EPA certificate to handle refrigerant. Some of them have like a NATE certification, and then you just get a lot of product training and vendor training. And you know, you may go learn how to work on, take a class on BARD units or Liebert units for server rooms, or PCA units for airports and, you know, hangars and stuff, or various objects. But there's no license. So if a guy has that in Texas, a TACLA license, just about anybody can go out and work for him on a RTU or, you know, anything. As long as he's got that license to recover refrigerant, pretty much anything, you can do whatever you want in HVAC. And it's not like you're going to send some hack out there to do the work. So I honestly feel like within the plumbing license actually hurts small companies to mid-sized companies. You know, because like within the union or large scale construction companies, you know, commercial companies, you know, when you've got 60 guys or, you know, or even 40 guys on a job, you're going to have a ton of apprentices that you're just, you know, hey, you guys are going over here and you're going to work on this stack. You know, you're going to get this up to the 3rd floor or what, you know, whatever you have them doing. And a journeyman may come by and check on them here or there. But they're essentially on their own. You know, it doesn't handicap that commercial job, because they can have one journeyman and 100 apprentices. And so you got 100 guys that aren't even being supervised hardly at all, and that's perfectly legal right now. You know, and you still have guys that are going around operating without a license, you know, undercutting it. There's basically nothing the cities can do. If you don't pull a permit, there's nothing they can do anyway. So I feel like, why should we only have, you know, should we have to deal with all this for all these guys instead of just having a contractor license, and just basically like the HVAC world does it? I don't, you know, if you're against it, I think it's because you're afraid that people are just going to hire shit people. People still want quality. People still want to buy the best. They're not, you know, if all of a sudden they get rid of a license, it's not like homeowners like, oh, great, now I can have the guy who cleans my carpets come in and do my bathroom remodel. No, you're still going to want a qualified guy to come out and do your shit. I mean, and even on top of that, you know, which is a different video, maybe I'll make one day, probably not, but people don't want cheap. They don't. Payless is going bankrupt, you know? Like here in Texas, you know, like you can, Papacitos it's damn near $30 a plate for enchiladas, Tex-Mex joint. It's delicious. About $30 for just a plate of enchiladas. If me and my wife goes, it's $120 for 2 people. On a Tuesday night, it's a 2-hour wait. El Chico, I call it El Cheapo Tex-Mex joint, $6.99 for a plate of enchiladas. You can walk right in, get a table right away. Ain't nobody there. It's, they're almost shutting down because people don't want cheap. Air Jordans sell for $200 a pair and get people lined up around the corner. Payless, out of business. It's the same thing. So all of a sudden, if you get rid of the license, it's not going to hurt you as a plumber. It's going to help you as a plumber. You're still going to be able to get certifications and verify that you know what you're doing. I got a whole file of love me stuff. I got all these different courses I've taken on tankless heaters or boilers, or like here, I've just got back recently from Minnesota right before shit went down for some water filtration training on, big filters. There's a ton of ways that you can verify your skill and have credible experience that people are going to want to purchase your skills over some guy that just says, yeah, I'll do it, fuck it. So getting rid of the license, it only helps plumbers. It is nothing to be afraid of. And I guarantee you my union brothers would totally disagree. I know they totally disagree with me on this. Everyone thinks that the license is a good thing, which I don't, because we already have our union license, which is harder to obtain than the journeyman. So why do we need to have our government overlords dictate who can go out and do plumbing? Because licensure does not ensure talent or skill in any way. So if you disagree with me, which I'm sure some of you do, I know reason I'm making this video is on, on Friday nights I drink with a bunch of other plumbers because my in-laws are plumbers and my buddies are, and we all go drink at, one of the guys' shops. And everybody was on my ass. They're like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy. You can't we'll make no goddamn money. We'll all be poor." And I'm like, and they're like, "That's union shit." And I'm like, "That is not union. Union disagrees." You got pretty much everybody's a plumber disagrees because it was hard to get that license for a lot of us. It was fucking hard. I got my first apprentice car when I was 16 years old, and wound up getting in like some legal trouble. No felonies or nothing, but hell, if you owe student loan money, if you're default on student loans, your license suspended, or your apprentice, you can't renew your apprentice card and you got to start over. If you got warrants in cities, which I did for traffic tickets, your apprentice card is suspended. So for me, I started at 16. I didn't actually get my journeyman until I was 28. So that was, and I was pretty much working the whole time. I took a little bit of time off being an idiot when I was like 20, 22. But it's hard to get. So I understand why people want it, but nah, fuck that. We don't need the there's better ways to do this. I think just a contractor license would be good enough, and then you decide who goes out and works for you. You can decide if, hey, this kid here, I get a call about a leak in a yard. I think he can go see a wet spot, fucking dig it up, fix a pipe, or he shouldn't be in the trade, or she shouldn't be in the trade if they can't handle that. So let me know what you think. I'm sure some of y'all disagree, but that's okay.